What is it that's here? So, a very light touch on the noticing. We're noticing the sense perceptions more from a noticing or watching than a thinking about perspective. Get yourself settled however you want. If you want to lie down, that's really nice, or sit back against a chair, or get yourself comfortably settled. And as you're doing that, just notice what the environment is internally right now. And that internal environment includes our body, the physical body, the muscles, the nerves, the sense of fatigue or agitation or calm, includes the nervous system, of course. Any of the sensations and feelings in our body. And then the most important determinant on whether or not we can rest is what's happening in our mind, in our thought stream. So we'll keep coming back to that. So mindfulness practice is ideally a noticing without thinking about what we're noticing. And one example of that could be I notice that my shoulders are starting to soften and fall away from my ears, come down away from my ears as I'm paying attention to them. And we can just kind of notice the sensation of that. There's less tightness. If you're lying back against something, you might notice what it feels like to let yourself really be supported through the back of your neck and shoulders. And then thinking about it might be if it sets off a train of thought about, oh, my shoulders are always so tight, and if I turn my head, it's going to hurt. And I know that that's a defense, it's a stress. And so we know all of those things. But during our relaxation practice, we're trying to not get involved in thoughts about what's happening. Just the pure, direct experience itself of the muscles softening. Of becoming aware of a sensation. Of become aware of what's happening in your face. Notice your forehead and eyebrows. Your eyes, the corners of your eyes, the deep muscles in your eyes. And one thing we know about that area of the face is that there's often a lot of micro tension. Sometimes we're really contracting our eyebrows together. But even if our forehead feels fairly relaxed in our eyes, there's often just a softening that those muscles start to release a bit as we pay attention. So we could deduce from that that there must have been tightness there. Or we could let that thought go. Just experience the feeling, lightening. And then we could bring our attention to that feeling of the air in the nostrils. That sensation was there a moment ago when we were paying attention to the forehead. but we weren't noticing it, and now we are. We can notice the mouth, our lips, our chin, the tongue, our teeth. Notice if there's a softness through there, if we're clenching our teeth at all. And as soon as we notice something like that, a tightening, then our impulse is to relax the hinges of the jaw, put a bit of space between the upper and lower jaw so that we're not tight. We're not tightening against whatever we tighten against in our life. We just let it be, experience that softness for a moment. It's a very light touch of awareness, of attention. And when we're doing inquiry, we're paying attention to sensation. For instance, if your jaw is tight, and then we're looking to see what are the associated thoughts. And during a restful practice, we're not following the thoughts. We're not actually putting our attention on the thoughts. We're resting our attention on the experience itself. So notice the whole of your face, the forehead and eyebrows. Just the sense perception of that. The eyes, the chin, the nose, the air flowing, the interior of the mouth. And notice if your mind is staying focused on that or if it went off into thought. It's the nature of the mind to wander. So we don't have to get mad at the mind. We could just keep bringing it back like we would a puppy that we're training. Oh, I see you've wandered off. Bring your attention back to me. And then come down through the neck now and the shoulders. What's happening in the sides of your neck? Is there any sensation, even if you move your head around a minute? What's going on in your neck, your shoulders? And particularly if you're supported, lying back against something, you really feel that support. What does that feel like? What are the sensations of something behind you supporting your body? Not to identify them in your mind, oh, that's my chair. Just to notice the sensation itself, the sense perceptions. Notice the front of your neck, your throat. If there's any energy or sensation, sometimes it will be here. to the sides of your neck and down into the top of your shoulders. Let your attention flow down into your arms, your hands, your fingers, your fingertips. What do they feel like right now? You could do one shoulder first and then into that arm. Take your time going down through into the hand and the fingers, the fingertips. Coming up to the other side of the neck and down into that shoulder, and into that arm. A hand and fingers, fingertips. Notice the sensations in the back of your hand are different than the sensations in the front of your hand, in the palms compared to the backs. Notice the sensations through your muscles. If there's anything going on with your hands or your arms, if there's any tingling or restlessness, your mind will maybe get involved with that. All of that is a natural process. The mind does that. And then we come back to just the sense perception of it. And bring your attention back up into your face. Almost always we'll notice that some tightness has come back into the forehead and the eyes, maybe into the mouth or the jaw. And bring your attention back into the neck and the shoulders, this time through the back of the neck, through those large muscles of the upper back. The shoulder blades, between the shoulder blades. And we can notice the experience. Sometimes it feels like there's an ease when we let that part of our body soften. We can notice the sensation of it, the connection of our body with something. And there's an awareing or observing presence. There's not just the sensation, there's something that's noticing the sensation. There's a very small part of the mind that's noticing the sensation. Part of the mind might be generating thoughts about it. But also, there might be an awareness that there's a stillness or a spaciousness here. So we could also put our attention onto that. The sensation is occurring in a space, in a certain area of our body. And we could notice the space itself. as well as the sensations in the space. This very light touch of attention. And notice the rib cage and the muscles that cover the rib cage at the back and then at the sides. When we notice the rib cage at the sides and the lower ribs, we're starting to really notice the breath. The diaphragm muscle is attached to the lower ribs. Bring your attention around to the front as well. The muscles that cover your chest. The muscles that cover the whole stomach area. And notice there are sensations on the surface, on the muscle layer, on the interior, both in the heart center and in the solar plexus down into the belly. And some of those sensations are physical, like we might feel some sensation from digestion in our stomach area, for instance. A lot of them are energetic. So let's take a few minutes to rest our attention here. This very light touch of attention. Anytime thinking comes into it, bring your attention back to just that observation. What are you observing or experiencing right now? And if you were to notice that your breath was kind of shallow or you were holding your breath, then there might be an automatic kind of softening or maybe some thoughts about that. And then we come back. If we were to expand our awareness to the whole body again, we might notice some different sensations. Maybe the air in our nose or some kind of sensation in our jaw, the feeling of the palms of the hands, or maybe down into our legs and feet. And all of these things are happening whether we're paying attention to them or not. The muscles are still doing the same thing, the breath is still breathing. So if we've been distracted by thinking, then we bring our attention back and settle in again just to that very light touch of attention. There's a sensation and I'm noticing it. And then zoom out again so that you're aware now of your whole body. You might be aware of the movement in your body as you're breathing, of all of the spaces in your body where there's no sensation, no movement. Let yourself rest. Let your mind be quiet for a moment again. And before you open your eyes, set your intention for how you could bring this out into your day.